This week's gun has been a point of frustration for me because I've held one and desperately wanted to get one to review. Well, now I've got 4. You'll see. Hello and welcome to AAR On Air, and this week is the turn of the much awaited, by me, Reximex Mito. And for once, I know exactly where the name has come from. It's Greek for myth, and no, that wasn't Toya before she got married. Well, where do I start with this week's review? I suppose the first thing to do is tell you a bit of the spoiler. I love it, or should I say them. To start with, they all come in a really nice shell case with egg box top and cutout bottom. Just what is in the box is dependent on the finish of the grips. Let me explain. There are essentially 2 main types, synthetic and non-synthetic, but the non-synthetic comes in laminates and walnut with either plain black barrel assembly or coloured. The synthetic, on the other hand, comes complete with detachable quick release stock. Now, the other thing to mention is the limited initial run of silencer kit versions that Vector Air have put together, but more about that a little later. First things first, let's take a look at the pistol itself. It tips the scales in the synthetic version, unscoped and indeed on everything, at 936 grams, which is around 2 pounds. It has a length of 370 millimeters or 14.5 inches. The synthetic version is naturally just that, and in this version is all black. From the very front then, there is the slightly squared off barrel housing. I won't say shroud because it isn't a shroud as such. What it is though is internally threaded for the included adapter. This will allow you to fit a standard 1/2 inch UNF threaded silencer, and if you're going to shoot this anywhere that someone may get upset about louder pops and bangs, then a silencer would be a good idea. Now at this point it's worth addressing that a little further. You see, the problem with silencers on pistols is they are usually too thick, and then the front sight is completely obscured, which makes the pistol pretty useless. But Vector Air have searched to find a silencer thin enough to not block the sights and yet still quieten the whole thing down. This was the result. A super thin silencer that does a really good job and is invisible from the rear when using the open sights. Not only that, but it fits the cutout in the clam case perfectly. Win-win. Below this front is the air gauge, which is colour-coded white, green and red to fill the 50cc air cylinder up to 250 bar maximum. This is done through the filler port at the base of the cylinder housing, using the supplied filler probe. The top is dovetail railed all the way along and has an open front sight and an adjustable rear. It is possible to remove this to replace it with an alternative sighting aid if preferred. This could be red dot or small scope, whichever takes your fancy really. Below here is the side lever, and what a lovely short action it is too. This is also decockable by simply holding back, pulling the trigger and slowly return the side lever to the home position. This also comes supplied with 2 magazines in the box, which in this 177 caliber are 9-round magazines. There is also the option of 2 caliber, and they are 7-shot magazines. There is also a single shot tray for those more accurate shots. We'll test that later. The safety is just above and behind the trigger and is a simple push through item which completely locks the trigger. It's left to right for safe and right to left for fire. The trigger is classed as 2-stage, but it feels more single stage because the first stage is very short and then you're onto the pull itself. It is adjustable. Once you get used to it, it is really quite nice to use. The grip is ergonomically moulded and it's ambidextrous and very comfortable. It's a real pleasure to use. Now this is the trick part and time to make the hard decisions. Is it synthetic, walnut, or one of the beautiful laminates that you want? Now I really love the laminates, but they don't come with the add-on stock. That is only available in the synthetic model. Talking of the stock, this is a quick release, lightweight, multi-point fixing item and has a rubberized butt, soft touch skin and stippled cheek rest. Naturally, it stabilizes the whole thing and gives you the option to pop a rifle scope on top to tighten up those grooves. Now, here's the interesting bit, the power output. Time to get this over the chronograph. Using 8.44 grain pellets, it saw 539 feet per second, which is 5.45 foot-pounds or 7.38 joules, which is as close as you want to be in a 6 foot-pound regulated world. I did try some 10.34 grain Hades just for good measure, and it saw 492 feet per second, which is 5.56 foot-pounds or 7.54 joules. Now, the reason I tried the Hades was to see how well the onboard regulator, yes, regulator, was working. And I can see this being a possible option in some very close rat work or the like. Well, time to get this down the range. I will be using an external sighting aid rather than the adjustable open sight to see how close we can get this to group. And I'm not going to shoot at 10 meters either. Here goes. The Reximex Mito. I've been wanting to get hold of these for a while, yeah, and then suddenly I get a flock of them, which is amazing. This is the one with the removable butt stock, which is terrific, nicely shaped, very easy and comfortable to use. It's also got that silencer on, which is terrific because it is low enough to avoid it blocking the sights, which is one of the things that normally happens when you put silencers on pistols. The sights go out the window. So this has been sourced to make sure that doesn't happen, and it's also been sourced to make sure it's quiet, and it makes a huge difference because this is so up on the power levels, certainly the UK power levels. It's very close to the 6, about 5.5, which for pistols isn't normal. This does have quite a bark, so it needs something to quieten it down, which it does, terrifically so. I like it, I love the pistol, it's very comfortable to use. It's a side lever for the action, which is small but compact, it's smooth in action. And what I've done is I've actually put a Victor Optics sight on it. Now this was actually given to me yesterday to say, go on, what do you think of this? I thought, well, I've got the perfect platform to put that on and try it. It's only a little 3-9 by 40 and it's dirt cheap and it's even illuminated reticle. But how compact is that? It is tiny. I can think of loads of things that would actually fit on beautifully. All right, it's a budget scope. let's not go away from that. It is a budget scope. You're not looking at a 500 quid scope here. But it's nice. It suits the rifle quite well. It's probably a little far forward to where it should be. But the good news is it absolutely clears that magazine, no problem at all. Now, what I've actually done as well is I have tried the 2.2 version of this. I'm just struggling here to actually see what I'm doing. Bear with me a second. There we go, we're in. It's only because I'm wearing glasses and don't need them for that. Anyway, I've tried the 2.2 version and the results are the same. Now, I've shot this, I've had a couple of goes of this off camera, and as I say, tried the 2.2, results the same. Now, what I've got to do now, there's no pressure, really, is I've got to replicate those results. So I'm down here. Now, normally on pistols, you shoot at 10 meters. No way. That's been pushed right out to 20 meters because it's got this on the back. And what I'm wanting to do is not test my ability of shooting pistols. I want to test how accurate this is. And this is the only way to do it. Let's push it out. Let's go for it. It's the 177 version this time around, using 8.44 grain. I think the JSBs that I'm actually using. Let's give it a go. It's quite calm today. It was supposed to be Storm Agnes. Doesn't seem to have arrived. So, thankfully, it gives us a bit of time to have a go. Really nice and smooth. Bit of a breeze starting. That's it, 9 shots, 7 on the 2.2. It's really nice to use. The trigger is really quite nice, surprisingly so. It's 2-stage, it's fairly short on the first. Yeah, maybe a couple of pounds and that's about it on the release. Safety's just above and behind it, locks it completely. Yep, I'm glad I got hold of this. Let's go and have a look at those results, shall we? I'll put that down nice and safe. Let's go and have a look. Come on, 20 meters with a pistol. So short barrel. All right, it's no longer a pistol by virtue of the fact that I've put a stock on there, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we know all of that. But this is designed as a pistol. So if you were steady enough with your hand, the pistol is well capable of doing fantastic things. Say there's a bit of a breeze. It started, got up. Last couple sort of shot off a bit, but apart from that, that's pretty much 9 rounds going through the same hole. I don't think those results are bad at all. It is a very enjoyable pistol to shoot, and the design on some of them are beautiful. The only thing to remember is that that is only available on the synthetic stock. It's not available on the walnuts and the laminates and everything else, which is a shame because, oh gosh, if they could do one of those in the same laminates, oh man, yeah, that would look gorgeous. But it's a lovely thing to use. It's lightweight, of course, because there's nothing to it. It's a pistol. And yes, could you use that as a spotter rat work? Yes, certainly at that. It's bang up on the pistol power. And that little scope is surprisingly good. Surprisingly good. Obviously it's useless as a pistol scope, absolutely useless. It's a rifle scope. I like it a lot, and without that silencer on, it does have a bark. Let's just see. I don't think it'll show up, but we'll give it a go. Whoa, you can hear that echo around the paddock. Yeah, that's loud. Put that on, completely deadens it. So no problems from the neighbours. I like it a lot. Back to the studio. Well, what more do you really want? That was a really nice thing to use. Great fun and a terrific feel to it. Price then? Well, if you want a wood or laminate grip, it's going to cost you around £400 UK. And if it's the synthetic version with detachable stock, well, that's about £50 less, and it's around £350 UK currently. At this point, I did get together with Vector Air and got them to include the slim silencer in the initial run of these. But when they've gone, they've gone. I am so glad I was able to get my hands on these, and they haven't disappointed at all. They feel amazing, absolutely amazing. They're accurate and they look terrific. The options are plentiful, and I don't consider them to be overpriced in this day and age at all. I'm pretty darn sure I'm going to be adding one of these to my collection. The issue is which one. I love the idea of the stock, but the colours of the woods and the laminates are gorgeous. These PCP pistols, which are regulated with silencer adapters in every box, they really are terrific fun. Well, that's it. That's the really enjoyable Mito from Reximex. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one as well. If so, please give us the old thumbs up. If for some strange reason or oversight you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button. Feel free to share this and, of course, click the alarm notification bell to be notified when the next review comes out. There is all this little lot to take a look at, and join in the chats on Airgun Factory Facebook. Gordon and the guys do a great job under immense pressure. Thank you, Gordon and the guys. Check out the AAR on Air website. Thanks, as always, to Vector Air for getting hold of these for me to review and enjoy. Comments of the week, then. Well, it came in from 265 Gunner. And I'm not looking to read the whole message here, just to say he isn't alone, and I get told this all the time. Airgun shooting is providing a real outlet for our military and ex-military guys, and indeed civilians who have suffered from PTSD. It gives them a discipline to focus on and helps hugely with their mental health issues. They deserve our support and help wherever possible. They don't need a government wanting to close down the airgun industry because it's likely to gain a handful of votes. It needs a sensible government to realise the good it brings to the community. I realise I could get a soapbox out and have a 20-minute rant, but I won't. Not unless I get asked to. Needless to say, we do these guys a lot of good, and we owe them that at least. He finishes off with, thank you for your videos, keep up the great work, you're helping people in more ways than you could know. Best wishes, Dean. Dean, I thank you, and I am really aware of how it helps you guys, and I consider it an honour and a privilege to do my small part, and only hope I can do more in my particular way. To everyone out there, and especially to Dean and his fellow PTSD sufferers, a big thank you for your support. Stay safe and shoot safe. Bye for now.